An important skill that I don't hear oftentimes talked about in the defensive firearms training world is the surreptitious draw, or can we say the covert draw, or I don't know, you fooled them draw, right? You just didn't go for speed, you went for cautiousness and carefulness. We at Defenders USA have recently affiliated with a company called Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is a cell phone provider that uses all the same towers as the big boys on the block, so therefore it has great customer service and great reception. At the same time, their bill is about half the price. Hey guys, Adam Winch here with Defenders USA and
Juan Rivas.
Juan Rivas, also at Defenders USA. He's a firearms instructor and also he teaches real estate agent safety courses, huh?
Correct.
Yeah, he's one of America's greatest real estate agents. We want to talk about something that's, I think, an important component that's oftentimes missed in the training world, right? In the training world, and by the way, blue gun, boys and girls, blue gun, it's a piece of plastic, it's a mold, okay? So, in the training world, we often stand here, right? All stock ready on a range, hands up, hands down, something, and we draw and go bang, and we do it on a clock and we go really, really quick, right? We're looking for that sub 2 second draw, the sub 1 second draw, whatever it is to hit the A zone from say 7 yards. Now, could we say that's more of a prepared thing?
Yeah, and you're always practicing the same thing, just standing up one time.
Yeah. And we vary it somewhat. You'll see people, they'll go hands up or hands in surrender or defensive, hands down, the clover leaf, whatever it is, but we're generally here and we're prepared. We know we got to draw on the clock. An important skill that I don't hear oftentimes talked about in the defensive firearms training world is the surreptitious draw. So what I mean by that is this: something bad happened, right? And maybe you've gone to the gun carefully and slowly, you're on the gun to where they can't see it, to where when your time is right to do so, now you take and pull the gun. It's no longer a speedy draw stroke, it's just getting the gun cautiously and carefully out so that when your time comes that you can make the shot, it's an easier thing to do than having to fast speed through the holster. What do you think?
I think that it's a good skill to practice, especially most of the time we're in situations where that's going to be the necessity. If we're at a restaurant, things like that.
Yeah. So, boys and girls, I'd tell you, in your training, start working occasionally the surreptitious draw or the covert draw, the cautious, careful draw that doesn't attract attention until you need to. So here's another aspect of maybe a covert draw, is doing so maybe in a seated area to where you want to do it carefully and quietly so you can drive the gun out to make the shots you need. Now understand, there are trainers across the US that teach classes that talk about really kicking the chair back, have big explosive energy to where if something bad happens, it's this stop and you pull the gun out and you engage your target. Here's my problem with that. My problem with that big explosive movement and energy just makes, one, a lot of noise, and two, draws attention, right? All that big movement, all that big noise. If Mr. Bad Guy had come into the restaurant I'm at, into the place I'm at, and I have big explosive movements, I have big explosive noise that happens out of it, it's simply going to draw their attention to me. They're going to focus on me, and they might realize I'm a threat to them, and they might burn me down with whatever weapons they have. So I'm not a proponent nor a fan of making a lot of noise or a lot of movement, right? Just like a good draw stroke should be as smooth with as little motion as possible, even in the fight of your life. The more you can compact down your movements and be more efficient, the more quickly you will get your rounds where they need to be. So in that same light, I would tell you the same thing is important in the chair. You want, one, the efficiency of the non-explosive big movements that are unneeded in a fight, but just as importantly, you don't want to attract attention through big movement and noise. So let's say in this case, I'm sitting in a chair and something bad happens. Somebody comes into the restaurant. We saw this recently at a taco shop, I think in Texas, where somebody carefully, surreptitiously, covertly got their gun out. And then they ultimately did a lot of stuff with the gun that I'm not very comfortable with, right? It felt like that went legally wrong. But I liked the carefulness with which that happened. Okay, so notice, if I'm gonna pull from a gun, I'm carrying appendix, I'm carrying a VP9, H&K VP9 in a Haven Defense Co. holster. And I'm carrying in a position when this gun comes out, it could, if I'm not careful, point at myself for a second as I bring this gun out. So as I go to get this gun, though I want to do it covertly and carefully, you also got to think safety. I want to drive the hips as forward as much as I can. And when I come out with the gun, I want it to pop out immediately. And notice how high my gun went. I went high simply so I could show it on the camera, but I don't want it to come out to where it's quickly noticeable. That was a big movement. So safely, carefully, let's look the gun away. So now I want to do the same type of things, but with the more subtle movements, if that makes sense. So let's say bad guys come in, he's maybe not focused on me, he's robbing the place, he's doing things to other people. I don't want to attract attention to myself because I want to ambush him in a sense. So I'm going to carefully get to this gun, drive the hips forward, and quickly get the gun out. If you notice, and you may not be able to see it under the table, but I spread my knees apart so when this gun came out from an appendix, it was not pointing at my legs or my knees. And I'm just thankful right now there's nobody on this side of the table that I have to be careful of. But the gun came out and I kept it generally below the table, and I'm in a sense waiting my turn until suddenly it's time to maybe put rounds on target. Notice once done, finger high off the trigger itself, what I call high index or high register, and then we're going to carefully work ourselves up to a position and carefully, slowly look the gun away. Now we only do that if we know we're safe. You never put guns away unless you're not safe, right? In this case, I'm presuming I'm safe, so I've holstered the gun. All right, so let me do that one more time so you can see this. I'm not going for speed, I'm going for covertness, for slyness, if you want to say it that way, as I pull the gun to engage the threat when my chance is allowed. Sitting here having dinner, whatever it is, uh-oh, bad things happen. And we're going to say that's an index, meaning we're done with it. But you get the idea. What I didn't do was all these big motions, where I'm kicking chairs back, having big explosive movements, because that simply attracts attention that I don't want, right? If I can be the one who rescues people and do it carefully, quietly, and efficiently without attracting attention to myself, I can now safely save more lives easily without becoming the focus of their bullets while I now engage them. All right, ladies and gentlemen, just something to practice and train on. Notice you can't really do this with shot clock. This is careful, thoughtful work through on this, but I'd ask you to go kind of include into your training regimen a covert draw, something to where nobody sees you do it, so it's done surreptitiously. All right, Adam Winch, Defenders USA.